Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. As we all know, the election in America is finally over, and I'm sure there's some people who are very happy and some people that are very sad. As you know, I'm a Democrat, kind of made that public quite a while ago on my channel. Received a lot of hate mail because of it, and people unsubscribing to my channel and everything. But anyway, it is what it is. I thought I had to, come out at least, tell the truth about what my thoughts were. But anyway, most of my friends here in the Philippines are Trump supporters. My whole family back home, everybody Trump supporter. So it is what it is. I accept the results of the election. I hope he does a good job, and that's all I'm going to say on that. The reason I'm doing this video, though, is I got hundreds of emails, comments, questions from you guys, especially, I'd say mostly from Democrats who are frustrated, saying, Mark, I'm done with America, I'm going to come to the Philippines, I want to come right now, I want to book my ticket. And I'm telling everybody, so look, just calm down, let the dust settle, and don't decide to quit your job and sell your house and move to the Philippines without doing some research first. There's lots of research out there you can do online, a lot of YouTube channels about it. And make a rational decision without any anger, without any frustration. Take the emotion out of it. Take the emotion out of it. But there's just a lot of people saying, they've decided this was a tipping point for them. And ironically, a lot of Trump supporters have told me the same thing, that if Harris won, they were leaving America and coming to the Philippines. And there's guys I've met here that have been here for a while, Americans who said they came here back when Obama got elected because they didn't want to be in a country where, him as president. And the same thing, there's people here now that came because Biden got elected. And so it kind of cuts both ways on that. But, it's an election fueled by hatred, insults, lies. And many Americans are just telling me that they're just thinking of walking away. Not so much from politics, but from America. Have you guys ever thought about just getting on a plane and not coming back? I mean, that's what I did. I remember that day. My mother dropped me off at the airport, had my one-way ticket to the Philippines. Never been here before. Very little idea what it was going to be like. I'd watched a few YouTube videos. There's a lot more out there now than there were back then. And that was it, and off I went to a country I'd never been to before to start all over again for different reasons, nothing to do with politics. But people are beginning to wonder, if the U.S. is, as great as they thought it was. Politics has driven Americans on both sides of the aisle, to pack their bags. Many Democrats, fear the country's going to spiral into, fascist authoritarianism when Trump takes power. Most of the subscribers that I'm hearing from are considering leaving America, and they're in their prime working years. I'm surprised at that. Usually, my subscribers and the guys I hear from that are talking about moving here, they're usually retirees, people, 60s and up. And the people I'm hearing from now are young people in their 40s, in their prime working careers, are actually thinking about, leaving America and coming to the Philippines, all because of the results of this election. Yeah, from what I'm hearing from my subscribers, the general consensus seems to be that America is in decline, has been for a while, and it doesn't matter who won the election, things are going to keep getting worse. So, they're very pessimistic, the people that I talk to, and I can't really argue with them because I don't live in America, I haven't been there, haven't lived there in, almost 6 years now, but they're just so despondent. And I hear this from both Republicans and Democrats. Both sides are not happy with the way things are. But unfortunately, with politics now in America, it's so polarized. You're either with us or you're against us. And that mentality doesn't exist here in the Philippines. As I said before on this channel, we had an election here, new president. I don't remember how long it was, 6 months, a year ago, whatever. Duterte's term was up. He left, he didn't try and stay in power. And Marcos came and took over. And there's been no riots, there's been no protests. When you talk to Filipinos, either when Duterte was president or when Marcos was president, nobody's got any complaints. I literally have heard no complaints from Filipinos about their government, none at all, And it's just refreshing. It's very refreshing. And of course, for me, the distance, me being in the Philippines all during this election cycle, was kind of a blessing. The distance, meant that I could watch what was going on, watch the interviews, watch the different events and stuff. The Democratic convention, Republican convention, I could watch those if I wanted to. But if you're in America, you're bombarded with like phone calls, text messages, emails, all trying to get you to support this candidate or that candidate and give money. And it's just, I don't know, it's just so overwhelming. And it lasts for such a long time. Other countries just don't understand why our elections last so long and we spend so much money, I mean, billions of dollars on an election. And, it's just over now. But there's other reasons that people are telling me that they want to leave America, besides from the election. And one of them is gun violence. I hear about this all the time, that they're fleeing the country because of the shootings. They're afraid of being in their own homes. My mother lives in Louisville, Kentucky, which is a beautiful city. I had a home outside of Louisville in Crestwood for 15 years. And if you turn on the local news there's like a shooting, a murder every single day, carjackings, home invasions, all these things nonstop. There were some riots during the Black Lives Matter thing when they're burning down grocery stores and gas stations and burning cars. And I mean, all that stuff, has made a lot of people feel they just don't want to be here and be there anymore in America. And the cost of healthcare too is just crazy in America. I know guys that have had surgeries done over here that cost them a couple $1,000s, where if they had it done in America it would have been, 10 times more. Like my wife had a cesarean and our bill was less than $3,000 all in for everything. And a friend of mine said that if I had a cesarean in a hospital in America, it would be like $50,000. And so, healthcare is a big part of it too. And, Democrats, they're worried about their future and the realization that America's taken a huge step to the right, and it may never come back. It could just stay that way. But of course, when Obama was elected, everybody thought that it was going to go to the left and stay that way. And of course, as we all know, it didn't. And the same thing with Biden. It hasn't stayed there. It goes back and forth, which, I guess balances things out in the end, but it's just very frustrating for, citizens and also for countries around the world that do business with America, because, every 4 years, can have a dramatic change in the way business is being done. There was a survey done prior to the election. They asked thousands of Americans that if the candidate they were supporting, Trump or Harris, lost, would they consider leaving America? And thousands of people responded and said yes, that would be the tipping point for them, that they would actually consider leaving and going to another country. And it's not just the Philippines people are going to. I mean, they're going to Mexico, they're going to Thailand, they're going to Vietnam, they're going to Cambodia, Colombia, they're going to Panama, lots of places that, besides the Philippines that people are moving to, and they're not coming back. I think Americans on both sides are just absolutely exhausted about this whole thing. And unfortunately, friendships have been lost, marriages have ended, people have lost jobs, all because of their political views on both sides. I'm not saying one or the other, on both sides. And, I've had people tell me that they went out on a date with someone. This is American men went on a date with someone, and during the conversation, their first date at dinner, it came out that he supported X or Y, Trump or Harris, and because of that, the date said, that's it, I want to leave, this date is over, because of that. They won't even consider going out with someone who is of the other party. It's almost like, back in the day as racism, where it was against the law to marry or date somebody that was a different color than you. It's almost gotten that point where people are imposing that upon themselves in their relationships. And many Americans, they spent the election, they said the whole time they were just upset, they were anxious, and they were just burned out. And like I said, for me in the Philippines, it's just not like that anymore. And I've had one subscriber told me, she said, this is from a woman, she said, I love America, I love road trips, I like barbecue, but it feels like there's parts of America that just don't want me. And I can imagine there's comments, a video that people are going to say, well, if you don't like it, leave, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. And, the anger and confusion among so many Democrats who detest Trump, and there's just, nothing's going to change that. There's little chance that he will do anything in the second term that's going to alter their opinion. And the same thing if Harris would have got elected. No matter what she did, how successful she would have been, there would have been people that hated her to the very end. Same thing with Hillary Clinton. Remember, everybody hated her no matter what. It's just too bad that there's no room for compromise anymore. And it's all or nothing in America. And I'm just, so glad that, almost 6 years ago, for different reasons in politics, I just packed up everything, and on a wing and a prayer and came into the Philippines, and it just worked out great for me. And so if those of you who have been messaging me and saying, well, Mark, I've decided I want to come to the Philippines, this is my reason, give it some time, think about it for, a couple of weeks, let the dust settle, make up a list of pros and cons. If you got any questions about things, I'm happy to answer them for you, but as I've said before, this is not a channel, an information channel. I'm just a guy who's been here for almost 6 years. I can tell you my experience. There's other guys who have other YouTube channels that have a lot more information about the Philippines and banking and visas and things like that. For example, there's Reekay Life Beyond the Sea. Geo has a really good channel. There's several people out there that have channels that give you a lot of information. Also, Jennifer Terry has a very good channel as well that talks about all the different things about the Philippines. But I tell people, it's a different country. As long as you're open-minded and as long as you're patient, and you're willing to just cut ties with your country and start all over. You have to start all over when you get here. You can't have a foot in both countries. You have to make a decision that this is going to be your life. And once you do that, and you commit, you have to commit. Once you commit to your new life here in the Philippines or wherever you decide to go, a lot of times it's a life-changing event, something that you'll wish you would have done years ago. So anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing. For the Trump supporters out there, I hope you know that I'm still your friend. I'm not upset with you. Congratulations that you won. It was a fair and square election. And to my Democratic friends, don't get too upset. Don't get too despondent. Everything flows and changes with time. So we'll see what happens, but just, don't let your emotions make a decision for you. That's the only advice I can give you. So anyway, thanks for watching, buddy, and we'll see you next time. If you want to be on the show, shoot me an email, okay? And I'll see you next time. Bye.